Hi, Gunter.
Hello.
Very glad you joined my video vlog and you're available for this. The topic for our today's meeting or vlog and conversation is basically mobilities. We see certain challenges in the automotive industry, but also see that the automotive industry has become become from an own area to a part of a mobility area. I would suggest we start with an introduction.
Right. Well, as you know, I came to the topic of mobility and automotive, but more in general, mobility from a social scientific perspective. In fact, by training, I'm a historian and a quite classical one, 19th century. And but it was history by which I actually came then also many years ago to the topic of mobility and automotive. And so that was at the Technical University Berlin. And there at an institute, um, I was researching with colleagues on social scientific questions relating to mobility. It was a mixed institute, engineers and social scientists. So it was about what's the motivation for mobility behavior, what are mobility styles. I was working on a project, mobility generations. Are there something like generational styles and mobility cultures and preferences? And also what links spaces, so contrasting regions and spatial relationships. That was very close to questions of tourism and tourism development. Why do people prefer certain destinations? Why does it change over time? And can actually this kind of preferential style be used also for implementing new forms of tourism, new forms of travel behavior? Yeah.
Okay.
So then another line, which I also entered with an historical perspective, was knowledge and innovation transfer. And I did seminars on this, and so in the end, it found a way together. And by this combination, I came closer and closer to also the technological problems of mobility and automotive, the industry, the whole industrial complex of what makes innovation, what are preconditions for successful innovation transfer and knowledge transfer, be it from company to company, but also from country to country. So cultural backgrounds to this.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, very nice introduction. I would like to hear and have a conversation with an expert like you. How did we get into that situation? What challenges we face today? What challenges maybe let's say the end users have, the drivers or the consumers of the mobility, and what challenges have the industry itself. I think, yeah, that would be quite interesting conversation around that. Maybe also to myself a little bit. I'm actually also historian by education.
Okay.
I ended then up in Softeq, more in the business development marketing area and had different roles there. But also from the education, I come from the historian from the
Great.
historian area. So I'm historian by
You find them
education.
everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, we are spread everywhere. And I'm really convinced that that we have a big problem with the climate change and that we need to overcome this by the development of, let's say, the industry, the society, and changing something. I think that the Green Deal initiative from the European Union is something really great. And in Softeq, we are always trying to kind of drive, or at least be in the ahead of the curve and helping companies to innovate, to advance, to bring new product on the market. And we see that the mobility as an area that combines automotive but also other areas of the mobility is an area that needs to innovate quite heavily in the coming years, right? To become to go away from the carbon emissions, become more neutral and more environmental friendly, sustainable, all these kind of topics. And maybe since you mentioned your background as a historian, I'm not sure if that's actually a topic you want to you can elaborate on, but I would be really interested to understand a little bit how we get to this current situation where everyone has a car, more or less. Every adult needs to have a car, which is, at least from some people, considered as a big problem, right? It's from everyone having a car, maybe we need to change our mobility behavior to something that's more sustainable.
Yes, we have to make us aware first, I think, to get really an honest discussion about this whole complex by understanding that mobility is not just movement. Mobility is communication, and mobility is the chance and even the prerequisite, the precondition for partaking in society. So what you just said, like this phenomena that we over the last 100, 150 years, we have this development to mass mobility and even individualized mass mobility, which is a very long-standing discussion, of course, all circling around the car and all the implications of the car, especially. We should not forget that this development enabled many people, the majority of the people, of really developing new chances in life and taking part in new forms in society. So it is part of our history of democratization and participation. And that is something maybe not at the focus of our talk today, but we should be aware of that, that when we talk about new forms of mobility today and what has to be changed, what could be done, there's always in the background lurking this question, what kind of access do people have, shall people have in future into many fields of society. If you limit it, and I know this discussion quite well from an academic point of view, and but also planners' point of view, over many years and many conferences, and you can detect, of course, this tempting like approach of yes, we have to limit and this whole discussion we have today, like we have to rule out and we have to change the laws, not to do this, not to do that. But we are talking here about the chances for lifestyles, and not only lifestyles, but really of participation in society. Yeah. So that we have to be aware. Yeah. So that is really a big trend of the last 100, 150 years, which is part of that democratization process we experience and participation process. So it's very ambiguous, this topic. We have to be aware of this. Yeah. So when we speak about alternatives, we have to make clear what are the costs, what are the chances, and it's much more involved than just vehicles, infrastructure, and some movement back and forth.